Hi, Waterford citizens. It's Mrs. Durst, and today we're going to continue our discussion about the time of day and how it affects the art that we look at. We have talked about sunrise, we've talked about daytime pictures, we've talked about sunset and nighttime pictures, and we've looked at some very famous work last week. Well, this week we're going to go back and look at Ben Richmond and Alan Malley's work and see how they use the time of day to make a difference in their art. Let's see what you think. Let's go and check that out. Here we go. Okay. This is the first piece of art we're going to look at. Ben Richmond painted this beautiful picture of a wave breaking either on a lake, one of the Great Lakes, or perhaps over an ocean. And it's obviously a nighttime picture as we look at the full moon and it's shining on the beautiful water. But what I love about this painting is that I can see the mist. It's reflected with some light. I can even see the light peering through the wave. It's a gorgeous nighttime picture at the ocean or a lake. This painting is called Harvest Moon, and it was created in 1999 by Ben Richmond. I love this painting of the deep night and a big October moon rising behind the lighthouse. Really a beautiful painting. This painting by Ben Richmond is called Maiden Voyage. This is a famous ship. It's called the Titanic. And unfortunately, on its first voyage, the Titanic sank. So it was at the time the most beautiful, well-appointed ship ever, with all the latest technology. And unfortunately, on its first voyage, back way almost 100 years, over 100 years ago, it succumbed to hitting an iceberg. Ben Richmond brings us back to that fateful night as we look up into the stars at this beautiful ship. But also in this painting, we see in front of the Titanic a large iceberg, and you are left wondering, is this just before this ship endures a fatal collision with that iceberg? This is another nighttime painting done by Ben Richmond. However, again, we don't see a lot of black or darkness. We see the moon behind the Toledo Lighthouse on Lake Erie. So another really beautiful piece of work with a lot of play of light, even though we're looking at a very dark time of day. I really love this one. This is called Dawn's Early Light. So this is happening right as the sun is rising, most likely on the East Coast somewhere. Ben Richmond loved the area of around Maine, the state of Maine. So this might have happened there. But I think his sunrise is what I remember seeing over the lakes. A lot of pink and purple and yellow as the sun came up over the water. Here's a daytime picture of that lighthouse that we looked at in our last week's work. So here is the lighthouse at Marblehead, and this is the barn or the house that sits on the property. And there is a ship or a little dinghy, they actually call those little rowboats dinghies, waiting to get out into the water. It's obviously winter, but it's a daytime picture of a beautiful moment during the day in winter at Marblehead Lighthouse. Here's another daytime picture or painting done by Ben Richmond. This was painted on Put-in-Bay Island in Lake Erie, where Frosty's Pizza is a place to go in the summertime. You can get a delicious pizza and a Frosty, which was a delicious kind of drink there, like a milkshake. And so I think he captured the summertime, daytime moment just beautifully. And daytime makes us feel happy and awake and ready to go. So that's kind of fun to see. Now we're going to look at some of Alan Malley's paintings. This one I love. It's obviously a daytime painting, and it's called Brighton Beach at Coney Island. Obviously, everybody is just there to enjoy their hours at the beach, to watch the large ships come in and out of Coney Island that day. This one is Ladies at Lunch, another daytime painting done at lunch. And all the light that you see during the day, again, makes you feel awake. And it's kind of exciting because the colors are so bright and vibrant. Bright greens, yellows, pinks, I see them all, reds, oranges. That is what a daytime painting allows you to achieve. Really true, vibrant, bright color. But at night, all those colors take on a little bit of shade. Where the light hits, you might see vibrancy in the color, but as you move towards the nighttime, you want to also build in a lot more shadow in your painting. This is done by Alan Malley, and it is called An Elegant Affair. I love this painting because the nighttime scene looks so fun. I love the lanterns that are hanging behind the couple, and it looks like they're having a wonderful evening in a beautiful outdoor restaurant. Another evening painting done by Alan Malley is called Opening Night. It even has night in the title. So here are people going to the theater on the opening night. And it's obviously winter and the snow is occurring. But I love the lantern lights and how they play over the people gathering before going into the theater. Look at the woman in the red coat. Notice how the light hits the coat and it's very vibrant, but there's also a lot of shadow as you go around the sides of the coat. That's what happens in a nighttime painting. And our last one is called Late Night Supper. Again, it's a painting of a restaurant, but again, very dark in the background, which really allows the light to gather our interests. We can see how the light from the candles on the table play off the different light colors in the restaurant. So thank you so much for looking at some of the paintings of times of day. Now, what we would like you to do next is find your lesson 2, and behind fauna, please paint or color your favorite time of day. Okay, and that'll complete this lesson this week. Now, I'd love for you to take a look at the optional part of lesson 2 this week. Actually, it'd be optional 3. Sorry. Look at that because we are going to be doing some springtime fun. So I spent a little extra time working on that this week. And there's also a movie all about Ben Richmond that I hope you take a look at. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.